Another day ride. I have been a little slack recently. Well, no, I haven't been slack. I've been busy. I haven't done a video for probably nearly a month now. And I ummed and ahed about whether or not I should do one today because I'm not really going anywhere. I haven't got a route planned. I'm just cruising a local cruise, taking in the crisp autumnal beauty of this October Saturday and keeping half an eye out for any bits of fallen wood that might do for spoon blanks. It's not really super inspiring YouTube fare, but this kind of seems to be the niche that I'm carving out for myself, and so I think I've found an angle. I'm going to run with it. I'm going to do some pedaling, I'm going to do some waffling, and I will let you, fine viewer, decide whether this one sinks or swims. Follow various bike packers and cycle touring type folks on the socials, and it's really good to see the reports of their trips. It feels like there's always someone crossing a desert or a mountain range, fording a river with their bike on their shoulders, pitching camp in some epic mountain valley shrouded in mist and filled with forest. It's all very inspirational, you know, round the world trips, coast to coast, end to end. It's great. But like so much on the internet, it isn't always massively representative. You know, including the stuff that I make. This is cherry-picked and it's filtered. I believe that long distance cycling, especially without a fixed route or return date, is the purest and freest way that you can exist. But it's also true that a lot of people, they don't have the time for trips like that, they don't have the money for trips like that, and they quite possibly don't have the inclination for trips like that. As rewarding as it can also be incredibly hard, both on the legs and on the brain. So the shtick that I'm pushing today is the idea that there are actually things that can be gained from riding local that can't necessarily be gained from heading off into the wild and woolly unknown and cycling for months in a foreign country. One of the things that I love about long distance cycling is the sense of scale that it gives you. If you cover multiple countries in a single ride, then you very quickly start to feel quite tiny amongst the changing landscapes. And this is a good thing. It is good to be reminded from time to time of your insignificance in the universe. But it can also make you feel a little bit detached from it, like you're in your own little bubble, just passing through and not really interacting with things, which of course isn't true. The alternate way to look at it is that although relatively speaking we are all quite insignificant, you are a part of the world, you are a part of the system, a part of the cycle, and your actions do, even if in only a very small way, have an impact on the way things come out. And I think that cycling local, like retracing your steps over and over again, is a very good way of hammering this understanding home. In this part of the world all my life. You know, these lanes, these trails that I'm cycling today are lanes and trails that I have walked and cycled countless times in the past, and that I hope to walk and cycle countless times again in the future. I've seen them in the rain and the sun, summer and the winter, and that means that I feel a certain connection to this part of the world I happen to be stuck to. And I think that's more than just a sort of wafty, hippie, tree huggy, oh man, I feel so connected to the landscape sort of thing. I think it's actually important, because this is where you come to see the new leaves form in the spring. This is where you come to see the blossom forming, to see the blossom turn to fruit, to see the fruit feed the animals, to see the leaves fall to the ground and become the earth. This is where you see branches falling, you see trees falling, you see the landscape changing. And you see how these changes are driven by the length of the day, by the amount of rain we've had, by the temperature. And these changes happen, they're happening all the time, but they're slow and they're cyclical, and so we often don't notice them. Now, our brains are very good at tuning out that which creeps up on us slowly and repeats itself. I think this is probably a major contributing factor to why we have problems like climate change and depletion of habitat, because we can't or won't notice those things which come up on us slowly from the side without making a sound. Chestnuts, sweet chestnuts. Looks like the squirrels have been through here and had much of them. There's a few kicking around for a wily forager like me. I wish I liked chestnuts more, because they're about the biggest, sort of juiciest nut you can forage around here. You do get a lot of them. They're big old things. Really nice and crunchy, but kind of bitter. Probably better if I roasted them, but there aren't really enough to make that worthwhile, so this is just a small foraging interlude from the philosophical nonsense. So if you go out and you do the same miles over and over again, and each time you do them, you ask yourself, what's changed this time? What's different since I last came through? What's new? Then you start to notice all the little details. You start to notice the micro life in every mossy little crevice and the mushrooms that seem to sprout and disappear in the blink of an eye. Me personally, I realised that although I've lived in this part of the world all my life, I still can't identify all the trees that we have around here. So I've got into the habit of coming out with, what's that tree, in my bar bag. And if I see a tree I don't recognise, I stop and try and identify it. It's pointless in the grand scheme of things, but it makes me feel a bit more involved. And if you're involved in a place, you're more likely to respect it. And if we respect this place, then maybe we get to survive into the next century, become a spacefaring species and travel faster than light between the stars, spreading a message of peace and love, which I'm quite up for, if I'm honest. I don't know how successful I've been at explaining myself over the course of this video. This is not a well-formed ideology or anything. This is just me mulling, as is my way. I guess at some level everyone knows that getting out in nature is a good thing. And I suppose I'm just saying that from a bikepacking point of view, you don't have to be cycling the entire length of South America to reap the benefits. You know, it doesn't matter if there's no one about to do it with you. It doesn't matter what the weather's like. It doesn't matter if there's a pandemic raging. If you've got a bike and a couple of spare hours, you can go out and have an adventure, have an awesome time, learn something, maybe come back feeling a little bit more connected to the world than you did when you left. And I don't know what else I can say about it really. If I haven't explained myself by now, then I probably don't know what I'm talking about. So for fear of repeating myself, I'm going to call a wrap on this one. My fingers are cold and I don't really know where I am, so I need to work out a way home without going on any main roads. If you made it this far, thank you very much. I appreciate it greatly. Like and subscribe, share, comment, all that jazz. And stick around for the next one. I've got a couple of at least notional ideas for future videos. A couple more tensile based ones coming if you're into tree tents. And they're good folk at LayOn just sent me a sleeping pad to do a review of, which should be interesting. Brand new company, brand new product, so that's quite exciting. That's all coming soon, I hope. Weather and lockdown dependent. So yeah, I'll see you all again. Have fun, stay safe, and keep on heading out into the woods whenever you can. Bye now.